Part 26. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 251. After Guojia finished writing the letter, the red blood dragon rider took the letter and flew to Yingchuan on the Golden Eagle. Due to the extremely fast speed of the Golden Eagle, within an hour, the red-blooded dragon rider arrived from Yuzhou to the sky above Yingchuan Academy. In order not to cause shock, the red blood dragon rider warrior landed in a forest 5 miles away from Yingchuan Academy and asked the Golden Eagle to wait again while he went to the academy alone. While flying in the sky, he could observe the different features of various places along the way from top to bottom. In Liaodong, there was no war, and people lived a leisurely life with rich activities. Leaving Liaodong and heading south, the scenery becomes more dilapidated. Many villages are almost deserted, and the crops in the fields have withered because they have not been cultivated for who knows how long. Even outside the city, you can often see people dying of hunger and being eaten by wild dogs. However, all the shocking scenes changed their appearance once they reached the boundary of Yingchuan. War is raging outside Yingchuan, but inside Yingchuan is peaceful. Although it is not like Liaodong where all the people are smiling and doing what they want to do, it is still much better than other places. In particular, the fields are no longer barren and the people have food to eat. And when you enter Yingchuan Academy, you can feel the difference. It seems like there are two completely different worlds from the outside world. Everyone talks politely. This scarlet blood dragon rider warrior walked in the academy, as if he was in the world of great harmony described by the sages, with the sound of books ringing. After all, this is a place where culture is inherited. No matter which prince is, they will not destroy this place or even bring war here. Because they know that no matter who destroys this place, it will be a devastating blow to culture. Not only will they be jointly denounced and boycotted by the world's aristocratic families, but they will also leave a bad reputation in history. This is not because people today are dissatisfied with you, but even future generations will be ashamed of you. Therefore, no one dares to bring war here. Of course, it's not just that they don't dare. To become a prince, they must have received a good education since childhood, and their hearts will be full of awe and respect for culture. However, this scarlet blood dragon rider warrior was just from a poor commoner in Liaodong. He only saw the peace here, but he didn't know the reason. However, this did not prevent him from sending letters to Sun Yu. When Sun Yu saw the person who sent the letter, he already guessed his identity. He knew without even looking that the letter was from Guojia. So before the red blood dragon rider warrior could speak, Sun Yu revealed his purpose of coming, which made the soldier immediately look at Sun Yu with admiration. Afterwards, Sun Yu opened the letter. Since he had not contacted Guojia for a long time, he missed Guojia very much, so he read every sentence in the letter carefully. Before seeing the letter, Sun Yu was able to guess Guojia's intention in writing the letter. As King Bingjian's power continues to expand, the talents under him must be increasingly insufficient, so Guojia's letter must be persuading him to join King Bingjian. Originally, Sun Yu had already lost confidence in the world because of the successive deaths of the Han emperors, so before reading this letter, he had even thought about how to reject Guojia. But when he finished reading Guojia's letter of a few hundred words, he suddenly changed his mind. Because there was a sentence in Guojia's letter that completely shocked him. Wenruo, Jia is well aware of your intention to help the Han dynasty. Now that the only bloodline of the royal family is in Yuzhou, please ask Wenruo to come out and guard this only bloodline of the royal family. Sun Yu had to say that Guojia did have a very good grasp of people's hearts. He knew that no matter how much he tried to persuade him, it would be difficult to change his mind. However, he grasped his only destiny, which was the royal bloodline. Sun Yu wanted to help the Han dynasty, which was his goal since he was a child. But Dong Zhouhe and Li Eryu killed Emperor Xian of the Han dynasty and exterminated the royal bloodline. This made Sun Yu lose his goal and became confused, so he stayed in Yingchuan Academy. However, he fell into a misunderstanding of thought and thought when the emperor died and all the princes died, the blood of the royal family was cut off. However, they forgot that the Emperor Ling not only had a prince, but also a princess. Now, Guojia woke up the man in his dream with one word, making him instantly think that the blood of the royal family was not the same. There is no break. Princess Wanyan, as the only descendant of Emperor Ling, is in Yuzhu. In this case, why should I live in seclusion in Yingchuan Academy anymore? It is time to become an official. But since I have decided to become an official to serve King Bingjian, Sun Yu naturally unwilling to leave empty-handed, he hoped to give him a big gift when he saw King Bingjian. So he found a pen and paper and wrote a reply letter to Guoqia, in which he stated his Sun Yu expressed his willingness to be loyal to King Bingjian. But before heading to Yuzhu, he had to clear some obstacles for King Bingjian. Then, Sun Yu handed the letter to the Red Blood Dragon Rider warrior and asked him to convey his message to Guojia orally. Determined to be loyal to King Bingjian. After the Red Blood Dragon cavalry soldier understood Sun Yu's thoughts, he took the letter and went outside the city alone, rode the Golden Eagle and returned to Dragon City to return to Guojia. Before he left, he made an agreement with Sun Yu. It's a good time to pick him up after Sun Yu has completed his goal. And Sun Yu also started to pack his bags and prepare to leave Yingchuan. But his first stop was not Liaodong, but Runan. Although Sun Yu has been living in seclusion in Yingchuan in the Sichuan Academy, he has been silently paying attention to the situation in the world. He knew that at this time, Cao and Lu Biao joined forces to attack Yangzhou, which led to Sun Jian's defeat. His son Sun Ce gathered the remnant Jiangdong army at Zhou Yu's suggestion, left Yangzhou and arrived at Runan settled down. Runan and Yingchuan both belong to Yuzhou and are not far apart, so Sun Yu he decided to go to Runan first and encourage Sun Ce to do something for King Bingjian. In the mansion of the prefect of Runan, Sun Ce received a report from the guards that Sun Yu of Yinchuan wanted to see him. Sun Ce was puzzled by Sun Yu's sudden visit. Although he had heard of Sun Yu's name in Yingchuan, he had never had any contact with him. So while waiting for Sun Yu to come in, Sun Ce looked at Zhou Yu beside him and asked Zhou Yu's opinion. But Zhou Yu didn't know Sun Yu well either, so he suggested Sun Ce to see what Sun Yu's purpose was before making a decision. Not long after, Sun Yu came to Sun Ce under the leadership of his guards. He first glanced at Sun Ce, then at Zhou Yu who was wearing a feather fan and silk scarf next to him, and then said to Sun Ce, Sun Yu from Yingchuan, pay your respects to General Sunday. I have always admired the loyalty of Marquis Wuchen, but I don't want to be assassinated by Lu Biao this time. This time I heard that General Sun was in Runan, so I came here specifically to see him and plan a way out for General Sunday. Although Sun Ce didn't know Sun Yu's purpose, he still said, in that case, I would like to trouble you sir to enlighten me. Sun Yu heard this and said, in my opinion, the young general should temporarily rely on Yuan Shu to capture Yuzhou, and then look for an opportunity to use Yuan Shu's power to destroy Lu Biao. Three Kingdoms, I have a job transfer palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 252. Relying on Yuan Shu and plotting against Yuzhou. Sun Ce repeated Sun Yu's words and thought about the feasibility of doing so. However, Sun Yu did not give him time to think, but said directly, yes, the death of Marquis Wuchen must be something that the young general cannot let go of. Want to avenge Wuchen Ho. However, with the current strength of the young general, it is absolutely impossible to eliminate Lu Biao by relying solely on the power of Runan County. You once heard that although Marquis Wuchen was at odds with Yuan Shao, his relationship with Yuan Shu was not bad, and Yuan Shu occupied Nanyang, not far from Runan. In addition, the Yuzhou Mu is weak and has no capable generals. With the combined efforts of the young general and Yuan Shu, Yuzhou will be captured in one fell swoop. By then, even if the young general and Yuan Shu divide Yuzhou equally, they will still have greater room for development than now. Yuan Shu occupied Nanyang. Although he was named a post-general, it was only a county, which greatly restricted his development, so he must have been coveting Jingzhou for a long time. After the young general captured Yuzhou and developed his own power, he found an excuse to provoke a conflict between Yuan Shu and Liu Biao and let them attack each other. With Yuan Shu's intelligence, he would not be paranoid. As long as the young general promised to help him capture Jingzhou, he would be the first to take up arms and attack Liu Biao. The young general can stand still for the time being. When they attack each other and both sides suffer losses, you can take the opportunity to send troops. By then Liu Biao will no longer be able to stop your army, so you can take the opportunity to kill Liu Biao and Huang Ziyu to avenge your father. At the same time, you can even take advantage of Yuan Shu's weakened strength to drive him out of Yuzhou and replace him, occupying Jingzhou and Yuzhou at the same time. Sun Ce couldn't help but take a breath after hearing Sun Yu's words. Originally he thought that he was driven out of Yangzhou by Cao. Although most of his troops were retained, it was not easy to conquer Runan County after hard work. As a father, revenge was even further out of reach. However, he never expected that Sun Yu would actually formulate such a perfect plan while talking and laughing. If this strategy of driving the tiger to devour the wolf was successful, not only would his father's revenge be avenged, but he would also be able to taking advantage of the situation. He occupied the land of 2 states and became a prince. Sun Quan was naturally overjoyed about this, and then he thanked Sun Yu. "Thank you, sir, for your teaching." After hearing what his husband said, Ce suddenly became enlightened. With his plan, Ce would definitely avenge his father. Soon. You saw Sun Ce being so excited and said with a smile, "Little general, don't be too happy too early. Getting rid of Liu Biao is not the end. Another problem is that the reason why Wuchenhao was ambushed by Huang Ziyu was because of the secret alliance between Cao and Liu Biao. It was in order to capture Yangzhou more easily that Cao and Liu Biao divided their troops to attack Yangzhou. It can be said that Cao was also the murderer who indirectly killed Marquis Wuchen. Doesn't a Euro trademark T the young general want to get rid of Cao? Sun Ce suddenly woke up after hearing this, but he knew that since Sun Yu raised this problem, he must have already thought of a solution. So he said to Sun Yu, "Cao must be eliminated, please give me some advice." Sun Yu smiled slightly and said to Sun Ce, "Wuchenhou and King Bingjian have joined forces several times to fight against thieves. The two have formed a friendship and respect each other. At this time, King Pingjian went south to attack Suzhou, but met with strong resistance from Cao, and Cao also joined forces with Yuan Shao and Liu Buletin to form a defense line against King Pingjian. Now that King Bingjian's attack on Suzhou has been frustrated, Liu Buletin and Yuan Shao are eyeing him in Yuzhou and Qingzhou. If he waits until the young general captures Yuzhou and Jingzhou, and joins forces with King Bingjian, he will definitely be able to defeat Suzhou in one fell swoop, and then take advantage of the situation to return to Yangzhou to avenge Marquis Wuchen." Sun Ce was very optimistic about Sun Yu's plan. He looked at Zhou Yu and asked Zhou Yu's opinion. At this time, Zhou Yu had already guessed that Sun Yu might be the one who would stand beside the king. He even guessed the reason why Sun Yu made suggestions for Sun Ce. Just to allow Sun Ce to put pressure on Suzhou after taking Yuzhou, and join forces with King Pingjian to break the defense lines of Cao, Yuan Shao, and Liu Buletin. However, this is not a loss for them, and if they can get a strong person like King Pingjian, aid is definitely a good thing for them. So Zhou Yu immediately said, "Sir's plans are closely linked. Both Cao and Liu Biao can be eliminated with this plan, and at the same time, they can be on good terms with King Bingjian. It is indeed great idea." Sun Ce saw that Zhou Yu also agreed with Sun Yu's plan, and immediately agreed. Sun Ce agreed to join Lu Feng in the crusade against Cao after capturing Yuzhou and Jingzhou, and Sun Yu's plan was successfully completed. So he hurried back to Yingchuan, and after the agreement at a good location, I saw the red-blooded dragon cavalry soldier and the huge golden eagle beside him. Because the golden eagle was really huge, Sun Yu was inevitably shocked after seeing it. But what surprised Sun Yu even more was, this golden eagle was so obedient that it could fly into the sky on its back. Although Sun Yu was a little scared about this, when he heard the red blood dragon cavalry soldier say that he was riding the golden eagle, it only took an hour. After arriving at Yingchuan from Yuzhou, he suppressed the fear in his heart and rode on the back of the golden eagle with the soldier. The golden eagle flew extremely fast in the sky, and often dived and rose, waiting for changes. The red blood dragon rider has been fighting on horseback all year round. His body is strong and he can endure it, but as a scribe, Sun Yu feels very painful. Although being able to soar in the 9 heavens makes Sun Yu very proud and feels extremely proud of this plan. But the strong feeling of weightlessness and overweight also made him very uncomfortable. Fortunately, the golden eagle was indeed fast enough, and Sun Yu did not have to go to Yuzhou to meet Guoqia, but went directly to Jizhou to meet Lu Feng. Due to the distance it wasn't too long, so he managed to hold on. But as soon as he landed, he still felt a violent contraction in his stomach, and then he vomited while holding onto the wall. Seeing how uncomfortable Sun Yu was, Lu Feng personally helped him into the house to rest. Sun Yu, who received Confucian education since childhood, has long regarded the courtesy of monarch and minister as his first gift. He would not let Lu Feng support him, and he would bow to Lu Feng first no matter what he said. However, Lu Feng used 2 people to it was not the first time they met, so there was no need to be polite. Moreover, Sun Yu insisted on helping him into the mansion because he had not officially served for him at this time. Sun Yu was very moved by Lu Feng's actions, so early the next morning, Sun Yu, who had recovered his condition, came to Lu Feng's house early and formally worshipped Lu Feng as his lord. After he came in, he found that Guoqia had already arrived and was looking at him with a smile. When Lu Feng saw that everyone had arrived, he announced after receiving his appointment, he appointed Sun Yu as the pastor of Jizhou, in charge of the internal affairs of the 3 states, while Guoqia was his accompanying military advisor, responsible for external military affairs. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 253. Although Lu Feng had appointed Sun Yu as the shepherd of Jizhou and in charge of the government affairs of Jizhou, Yuzhou, and Yizhou, before that, he still needed Sun Yu to go to Yuzhou first. The purpose of letting Sun Yu go to Yuzhou was, of course, to transfer to the job transfer hall. This was not only to ensure Sun Yu's absolute loyalty to Lu Feng, but also to allow him to possess his own skills. And possessing skills is what Lu Feng mainly wants Sun Yu to get. Because whether it is from Lu Feng's contact with Sun Yu in this life or his understanding of Sun Yu in his previous life, as long as Sun Yu identifies a lord, he will be absolutely loyal and will not betray. Even if it was like in the previous life, when Cao became obviously disloyal to the emperor, Sun Yu, who had always cared about the Han dynasty and supported the Han dynasty, never thought of betraying Cao. All he did was keep turning around and maintaining a delicate balance with Cao and Emperor Xian of the Han dynasty. Based on Sun Yu's feelings for the Han dynasty, he was not even willing to betray Cao, who had a disloyal heart toward the Han emperor. How could Lu Feng worry that he would betray him? He had been influenced by Confucianism since childhood, and he himself was a descendant of Sun Tzu, the representative of Confucianism during the Warring States period. The idea of a euro loyalty to the emperor had long been ingrained in Sun Yu's heart. As Lu Feng's side-by-side king and the identity of the Han's consort, Princess Wanyan is the only bloodline of the royal family. It is impossible for Sun Yu to betray Lu Feng. Moreover, since Lu Feng's poems spread all over the world, Sun Yu has long been full of affection for Lu Feng, and even worshipped him very much. Coupled with Lu Feng's status as the powerful consort of the Han dynasty, all this made Sun Yu not only have a great impression of Lu Feng, but also made him trust Lu Feng very much. Therefore, Sun Yu didn't have any resistance or doubt in his heart when Lu Feng told him to go to Longcheng first and accept the job transfer in the so-called job transfer hall. Therefore, Lu Feng sent 10 red-blooded dragon riders to escort Sun Yu to the job transfer hall at the foot of Big Bear Mountain in Dragon City. Sun Yu looked at the job transfer palace in front of him and was very curious about this palace, which was obviously very different from the architectural style of the time. He didn't expect that Lu Feng would build such a magical palace in this deep mountain and old forest. Walking into the transfer palace, Sun Yu found that the interior of the palace was even more surprising than its appearance. Behind a large door with a military service plaque, there were various small doors. There are different plaques hanging on each door, not only military professions such as generals, counselors, commanders, and assassins, but also life professions such as blacksmiths, brewers, architects, etc. Seeing this, Sun Yu finally understood why the wine brewed by Longcheng was so memorable, and why the armor on the soldiers of Yuzhu was indestructible. However, although Sun Yu was very curious at the moment, he knew that his most important position to Lu Feng was that of counselor, so he walked into the counselor's door without hesitation. Not long after, when Sun Yu walked out of the gate, he had become a counselor at the top of the 4th rank. Like Guoqia, he also had 4 professional skills. These 4 skills are what Lu Feng is most optimistic about. Of course, in addition to this, Sun Yu's loyalty to Lu Feng was also raised to 100%, and he would never betray Lu Feng. After completing the job transfer task, Sun Yu returned to Jizhu from Dragon City non-stop, escorted by 10 red-blooded dragon riders. Lu Feng was naturally very happy when he looked at Sun Yu after his job transfer. Just when Cao, Yuan Shao, and Lu Buletin formed a unified defense line to resist Lu Feng, and the 4 princes were in a deadlock due to mutual restraint, and each was slowly developing, Sun Ce of Runan contacted Yuan Shu. Previously, Yuan Shao hated Sun Jian for getting the imperial seal, so he secretly contacted Lu Biao and asked Lu Biao to intercept and kill Sun Jian. Although his plan was concealed, Sun Jian could still see Yuan Shao's conspiracy. So Sun Jian was at odds with Yuan Shao. Because Yuan Shu had always looked down on Yuan Shao, his relationship with Yuan Shao had always been very cold, and he even secretly opposed Yuan Shao. Therefore, because Sun Jian and Yuan Shao were at odds, Yuan Shu was very attracted to Sun Jian. Therefore, the relationship between Sun Jian and Yuan Shu is very good. Therefore, after Sun Yu formulated a development plan for Sun Ce, Sun Ce did not hesitate to write a letter to Yuan Shu with Zhou Yu's advice. In the letter, Sun Ce first recalled the revolutionary friendship between his father Sun Jian and Yuan Shu, and then focused on praising Yuan Shu. Sun Ce called Yuan Shu the current representative figure of the Yuan family in Runan, while Yuan Shao was nothing more than a clown with a harsh appearance and a soft heart, and a different appearance than Yuan Shu. Later, Sun Ce said that due to the death of his father and the loss of Yangzhou to Cao, he only had 1 county in Runan. He was afraid of being annexed by other princes, so he decided to join Yuan Shu. In order to show his loyalty, Sun Ce was willing to capture Yuzhou and offer it to Yuan Shu. However, due to the current fall of Yangzhou, he fled in a hurry and did not have enough troops. Therefore, I hope Yuan Shu can lend him 30,000 troops and horses to attack Yuzhou. After writing the letter, Sun Ce sealed it and sent people to Nanyang County to deliver a letter of surrender to Yuan Shu, and borrowed 30,000 troops to conquer Yuzhou. Yuan Shu received the letter and after reading it carefully, he felt very happy. Although Sun Ce was young, his military power was hard to match in Jiangdong. Even among Yuan Shu's own generals, no one dared to say that they could defeat Sun Ce. With a first-class general like Sun Ce, his strength has naturally been greatly improved. Therefore, Yuan Shu immediately made Sun Ce the shepherd of Yuzhou, and was prepared to agree to his request and send 30,000 troops to assist Sun Ce in attacking Yuzhou. However, Yang Hong, a counselor under Yuan Shu, hurriedly dissuaded him. "My lord, please don't trust Sun Ce so easily. Even if Sun Ce's father Sun Jian is good friends with your lord, he has never wanted to surrender to your lord, let alone a young man who is not close to your lord. What about Sun Ce, who has never interacted with the lord? He surrendered to the lord this time. I believe that his main purpose was not to seek asylum from the lord. After all, after Cao Chun captured Yangzhou, he focused all his energy on resisting Lu Feng, and it was too late. Pursue Sun Ce. Therefore, I believe that Sun Ce Euro trademark's real purpose is just to borrow troops from the lord to attack Yuzhou, and the troops lent to him by the lord are very likely to be borrowed but not repaid." After hearing Yang Hong's words, Yuan Shu felt a little in his heart. Doubtful, but he still coveted Sun Ce's martial arts, so he did not follow Yang Hong's suggestion. However, Yuan Shu also reduced the troops lent to Sun Ce, sending only 20,000 people to assist him in attacking Yuzhou. Although there were only 20,000 people, Sun Ce's strength still increased greatly. With his bravery and Zhou Yu's strategic planning, Sun Ce was invincible and unstoppable among the Yuzhou army, and it took only 1 month to capture Yuzhou. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 254. Originally, according to Sun Yu and Zhou Yu's plan, they relied on Yuan Shu to capture Yuzhou, and then Sun Ce and Yuan Shu divided Yuzhou equally. But they didn't expect that Yuan Shu was even more stupid than everyone imagined. When he heard that Sun Ce had surrendered to him, he not only agreed to borrow troops unconditionally, he even made Sun Ce the shepherd of Yuzhou and gave the entire Yuzhou to Sun Ce. This can be said to be an unexpected surprise for Sun Ce. Therefore, after conquering the entire territory of Yuzhou, and after half a month of stabilization and development, Sun Ce began to plan with Zhou Yu how to provoke a conflict between Yuan Shu and Lu Biao. After all, obtaining the territory in Yuzhou is only a small goal in Sun Ce's current plan. Avenging Sun Jian and getting rid of Lu Biao and Huangziu is what Sun Ce wants to do most at the moment. And although Sun Ce is now the nominal Yuzhou Mu, Yuan Shu has publicized the news that he has taken refuge with him, so now the whole world knows that Sun Ce has become Yuan Shu's subordinate. Under this situation, Sun Ce had absolutely no way to develop his own power. Yuan Shu might issue an order at any time to lead his army to conquer the east and west for him. Moreover, Yuan Shu may withdraw the troops that funded him at any time, or even mobilize his own troops to attack other princes. As a result, Sun Ce could not cultivate his own power with peace of mind. What Sun Ce couldn't accept even more was that Yuan Shu might follow the advice of his advisor at any time and transfer himself away from Yuzhou and arrange him to be by his side. In that case, Sun Ce would completely lose the opportunity for development. And since Sun Ce has surrendered to Yuan Shu, it is impossible for Sun Ce to rebel directly. In this way, in this world that values a euro loyalty, he will lose more reputation and morality. Just like today's flying general Lu Buletin, although he has unparalleled military power, many people still sneer at him, and many princes even ignore him at all. None of the famous men and generals in the world are willing to serve him. The capable men under him now, such as Zhang Liao and Gao Shun, are also veterans who took refuge with him a long time ago. The reason is that Lu Buletin was Ding Yuan's subordinate and trusted subordinate earlier, but he was tempted by Dongzhou to kill Ding Yuan himself and defect to Dongzhou. Therefore, the infamy of regicide has always been on Lu Bu. No matter how powerful he is not recognized by the world. Sun Ce was only a teenager at this time, his life had just begun, and there was still a long way to go, so he must not bear the reputation of being unfaithful like Lu Buletin. Moreover, Sun Ce had been influenced by Sun Jian since he was a child. He acted openly and above board, and valued emotions and loyalty. Even though he pretended to join him in order to take advantage of Yuan Shikai, he did not want to rebel against him directly. Therefore, the only way to escape Yuan Shu's control and take over all the territory is to provoke a conflict between Yuan Shu and Liu Biao, as Sun Yu said. Once the two sides started fighting and both sides were injured, Sun Ce had the opportunity to easily kill Liu Biao and take over Yuan Shu's power. Moreover, as the entire Yuzhou fell into the hands of Sun Ce, his strength increased greatly, and his troops no longer relied solely on Yuan Shu's 20,000 support, so he increasingly wanted to escape Yuan Shu's control. As Sun Ce's confidant and a super strategist, Zhou Yu knew Sun Ce very well, so he took the initiative to find Sun Ce to discuss provoking conflicts between the two parties. This matter has always troubled Sun Ce. He took this opportunity to ask Gong Jin. Sun Yu said that we should find an opportunity to provoke a conflict between Yuan Shu and Liu Biao, so that they both lose, and we will reap the benefits. This plan, that's good, but I've been thinking about it for a long time, but I haven't thought of a way to get Yuan Shu and Liu Biao to work together. I wonder if you have any clever ideas, Gongjin. Zhou Yu said with a smile, I just want to talk to you about this today. If a war breaks out between two major princes, the only possible reason is interest. Only when the interests of both parties conflict and are irreconcilable, war will be inevitable. Therefore, if you want Yuan Shu and Liu Biao to fight, you need to make them produce conflict of interests. After listening to Zhou Yu's words, Sun Ce felt that this was indeed the case, so he asked, in that case, Gongjin, don't show off, I know you must have a solution, tell me quickly, I'll just do it as long as I find a way. Zhou Yu couldn't help but smile when he saw Sun Ce's anxious look, and then said, actually, the best interest in making them dog eat dog lies in your hands, Bofu. Sun Ce listened to Zhou Yu. He still had a look of confusion on his face. When Zhou Yu saw this, he said directly, Jade Seal of Chuanguo. At this time, Sun Ce was shocked when he heard the Jade Seal of Chuanguo from Zhou Yu's mouth. Jade Seal of Chuanguo? Gongjin is say, let me use the Chuanguo Jade Seal to provoke conflicts between them. But this Jade Seal was found by my father with great effort. It can be said that the original reason why he died was this Chuanguo Jade Seal. Therefore, this Jade Seal, it is very important to me, how can I use it as bait? Seeing that Sun Ce did not react, Zhou Yu explained, Bofu, even if this Jade Seal is in your hand now, you can't take it out and use it, so why not let it go? To become a tool to avenge my uncle. Sun Ce listened to Zhou Yu's words and thought that what Zhou Yu said was very reasonable, so he asked, okay, everything depends on Gongjin. Tell me, what should be done specifically? Zhou Yu replied, said Yuan Shu was born in the Yuan family of Runan, the fourth generation and the third duke. He had high aspirations, great ambitions, and few talents. And with the decline of the Han dynasty, and even the emperor no longer existed, his ambition must have become more obvious. Therefore, Bofu can take the opportunity to offer the Jade Seal and instigate him to proclaim himself emperor. With this Jade Seal passed down from the country, Yuan Shu will definitely not refuse. And his territory at this time is in Nanyang County, located in Jingzhou, which falls under Liu Biao's jurisdiction, so once he proclaims himself emperor, Liu Biao will directly lose control of Nanyang. This must be something Liu Biao cannot tolerate. Moreover, as a clan member of the Han dynasty, Liu Biao also turned against Uncle Sun in order to seize the Jade Seal handed down from the country, so he will definitely not tolerate the different surname Yuan Shu. The emperors. All factors combined, Liu Biao will definitely send troops to attack Yuan Shu, and a battle between them will be inevitable. And although all the princes have long lost their loyalty to the Han, they are still Han ministers after all. If Yuan Shu proclaims himself emperor, it must be an unjust act, and Bofu can be freed from his control as a matter of course. In addition, you don't have to feel bad about Zhuangguo Jade Seal. When Yuan Shu and Liu Biao are both injured in the fight, our army will reap the benefits. We can naturally take back the Jade Seal. After hearing Zhou Yu's complete plan, Sun Ce immediately gave Zhou Yu the Imperial Seal and sent Huang Gai to escort Zhou Yu to Nanyang. When Yuan Shu saw the Imperial Seal, he was naturally overjoyed. He thought that with this Imperial Seal, no one could stop him from ascending the throne and becoming emperor. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 255. Yuan Shu had already wanted to be independent, but he never had a suitable reason. However, Zhou Yu brought the Imperial Seal, as if someone handed him a pillow when he fell asleep, which immediately made Yuan Shu secretly happy. But even though he was excited, before he accepted the Jade Seal, he still pretended to feel guilty and kept trying to shirk it. He said to Zhou Yu Gongjin, I appreciate Bo Fu's kindness, but this national Jade Seal is too precious, and it is something that Wen De fought hard to protect. This is of great significance to Bo Fu. I can't accept it, so you should take it back. Zhou Yu naturally knew that Yuan Shu was pretending to shirk, but in fact, he wanted to snatch the Jade Seal immediately and not let go. However, he did not expose it, but said to Yuan Shu, what did Mr. Yuan say? Although this Jade Seal was indeed obtained by Marquis Wuchen, but now that he has passed away, it is naturally inherited by Bo Fu. And Bo Fu knew it. Since he was young, the Jade Seal was not safe in his hands, and it might make him a target of public criticism, so he ordered you to give the Jade Seal to Duke Yuan. Duke Yuan is different from Bo Fu. You come from the Yuan family of Runan, the fourth generation and the third duke. He is also the legitimate son of the Yuan family, and his prestige is unparalleled by anyone in the world. Therefore, it is most suitable for you to keep this Jade Seal. After Zhou Yu finished speaking, he deliberately looked around, then leaned into Yuan Shu's ear and lowered his voice. Now the Han dynasty does not even have an emperor, it has long existed in name only, and the world is in chaos. This Jade Seal passed down to the country is originally a symbol of destiny. Destined to live long and prosperous, Mr. Yuan can get this Jade Seal handed down from the country, which will soon represent you. Is this where fate comes from? Not to mention that you were appointed to command the Jade Seal, even if you ascended the throne and proclaimed yourself emperor, no one in the world would dare to say no. After hearing Zhou Yu's words, Yuan Shu was even more excited and stopped pretending. He refused, but took the Imperial Seal and played with it for a long time. Then he said, is what Gongjin said true? With this Jade Seal, it is destiny, can he be emperor? Although Zhou Yu must be Yuan Shu in his heart, he still flattered, that's it? I accepted it from Yuan Gong when Bo Fu and gave him troops to capture Yuzhou. Destiny has already fallen on you, why do you have any hesitation? Yuan Shu was overjoyed after hearing Zhou Yu's words, and no longer hesitated, and immediately called for people come to prepare for the enthronement, and announced that he will ascend the throne and proclaim himself emperor in 3 days. Yuan Shu's order came out and he boasted to Zhou Yu. When Zhou Yu was about to return to Runan, Yuan Shu's 2 great counselors Yang Hong and Yan Xiang hurried over. They didn't even have time to look at Zhou Yu, and they knelt on the ground at the same time and advised, my lord, please don't be tempted by others to become emperor just because of impulse. Yuan Shu was in a good mood, but at this time he heard that the 2 most important men under him, the counselor, came out to oppose his proclaiming the emperor, and was furious. He asked, what do you mean? Don't I, the general, deserve to be proclaimed emperor? Faced with Yuan Shu's accusation, Yan Xiang said, my lord does not deserve to be proclaimed emperor, it is just that he does not deserve to be proclaimed emperor. The emperor's time is not right. Now the emperor of Han dynasty has just passed away, and the heroes of the world are divided and attacking each other. If the Lord proclaims the emperor at this time, wouldn't it be clear that he will be the enemy of the princes of the world? By then, the princes will most likely form allied forces to attack the Lord. After Yan Xiang finished speaking, Yang Hong also added, when King Bingjian killed Dong Zhou and Li Eryu and brought Lu Ji, Huangfu Song and other important officials of the court to Liaodong, Lu Ji and others wanted to establish King Bingjian become emperor. But King Bingjian refused. With the strength of King Bingjian, he dare not proclaim himself emperor and stand on his own initiative. How can my lord proclaim himself emperor now? After hearing what the two of them said, Yuan Shu said angrily, Yuan Shu, come from the Yuan family. It is the first family of the Han dynasty with a prominent position. Now that the royal family has withered, it is only natural that I proclaim the emperor. Besides, Lu Feng did not dare to proclaim the emperor because he did not have the destiny. Now that I have obtained the imperial seal, I have obtained it. The recognition of destiny and the moral support are actually comparable to what Lu Feng's son can do. With the jade seal in hand, the princes from all walks of life will definitely obey my orders. Yan Xiang and Yang Hongzhen wanted to persuade again, but Yuan Shu said, okay, come on, you two, stop talking. I have made up my mind. Anyone who talks too much is disloyal to me and I will chop off his head. Seeing that Yuan Shu had made up his mind, the two of them knew that no matter how much persuasion, Yuan Shu could not change. I had no choice but to retreat silently. Seeing that it was certain that Yuan Shu would become emperor, Zhou Yu said goodbye to Yuan Shu and returned to Runan. 3 days later, Yuan Shu proclaimed himself the emperor and founded the country in Nanyang. He named the country Cheng and changed the reign name to Zongjia. As soon as the news came out that Yuan Shu proclaimed himself emperor in Nanyang, the world was shocked. This was the first prince to proclaim himself emperor since the fall of the Han dynasty, which naturally attracted the attention of countless people. Not only other princes, but also the people all over the world have been discussing Yuan Shu's proclaimed emperor. People originally thought that the first person to proclaim the emperor must be the most powerful and popular King Lu Feng, because in addition to his strength, he was also the vassal king of the Han dynasty and the emperor's consort. He is the closest thing to orthodoxy. Even if King Bingjian is not the first to proclaim the emperor, he will be one of the three of Cao, Lu Buletin and Yuan Shao, because apart from King Bingjian, the three of them are the most powerful princes today. No one expected that Yuan Shu, who only had one county in Nanyang, would dare to be the first to jump out and proclaim himself emperor. Although Yuan Shu apparently owned Yezhou in addition to Nanyang County, he appointed Sun Ce as Yezhou Mu to be in charge of Yezhou. Anyone with a little bit of savvy can see that Sun Ce did not really surrender to Yuan Shu. His occupation of Yezhou could not bring any help to Yuan Shu. Therefore, regarding Yuan Shu's courage to proclaim himself emperor, people don't know whether to say he has courage or that he has no brains. Sun Yu from Jizhu was also shocked when he learned about this. But when he heard that Yuan Shu ascended the throne and proclaimed himself emperor because he obtained the imperial seal, he immediately understood that this was done intentionally by Zhou Yu and Sun Ce in order to provoke a conflict between Yuan Shu and Lu Biao. Sun Yu could only shake his head and smile bitterly. He just wanted Sun Ce to help Lu Feng share some of the pressure, but he didn't expect Sun Ce to make such a big fuss. At this time, the remaining dignity of the Han dynasty was completely crushed by Yuan Shu. At this time, in Jingzhou, in the prefecture Miafu, Lu Biao was so angry that he learned that Yuan Shu had proclaimed himself emperor in Nanyang County and threw several wine bottles. He still felt that he was full of anger and had nowhere to vent. So he immediately decided to personally lead an army of 100,000 people and rush to Nanyang to attack Yuan Shu. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 256. Although there are not too many princes in the world today, in addition to Lu Biao, there are also nearly a dozen princes such as Lu Feng and Cao, but only Lu Biao is so angry. This is not because Liu Biao is eager for justice, but the main reason is interests. As the shepherd of Jingzhou, Liu Biao was in charge of all military and political matters in Jingzhou, including the taxes paid to him by various counties and counties. As a county under Jingzhou, Nanyang was naturally under the jurisdiction of Jingzhou Mu. It also had to pay taxes to Jingzhou and increase Liu Biao's income. However, with Yuan Shu ascending the throne and proclaiming himself emperor in Nanyang County will inevitably become independent from Jingzhou, and Liu Biao will no longer be able to obtain any benefit from Nanyang. Although before this, Nanyang had listened to the instructions but not the propaganda under Yuan Shu's management, at least the taxes that should be paid would not be bad. Moreover, although Jingzhou itself has jurisdiction over 7 counties and 115 counties, Nanyang County is the largest county in Jingzhou. The 36 counties under its jurisdiction are enough to pay the taxes of the other 3 counties. It was impossible for Liu Biao to spit out such a piece of fat meat after he had already eaten it. Moreover, who would allow an emperor to appear within his own sphere of influence? It was precisely because of this that Liu Biao was so angry. In addition, he initially enmity with Sun Jian because of this national jade seal, but now he has spent all his efforts to get rid of Sun Jian, but there is still Sun Ce. And even after wasting so much effort and wasting so much force, there was still no way to get the jade seal, but Yuan Shu held the jade seal in his hands without paying anything. Moreover, he also used this jade seal to become emperor. How could Liu Biao endure this? He is a descendant of Liu Yu, King Liu Gong of the Western Han Dynasty. Although it is no longer possible to become emperor now that the royal family is in full swing, he is still a clan member of the Han Dynasty after all. And Yuan Shu openly proclaimed himself emperor in his territory. This was not only disrespectful to the Han Dynasty, but also disrespected Liu Biao. In a prefecture and county under the jurisdiction of a Han clan, there was a person with a different surname holding a jade seal to call him emperor. Emperor, Liu Biao will definitely be ridiculed by everyone in the world. Although Lu Feng of Yuzhu and Lu Yan of Yuzhu are also members of the Han clan, they should stand up and join Liu Biao in the crusade against Yuan Shu, but Lu Yan is old, and Yuzhu is remote and has complex terrain, making it inconvenient to send troops. Although Lu Feng was an upright young man and had a strong military force, he was still far in the north, and the alliance defense line formed by Yuan Shao, Cao, and Lu Buletin completely isolated Lu Feng from the north and could not move further south. Therefore, only Liu Biao, who was closest to Yuan Shu, was most likely to be ridiculed by the world. Under the premise that both his interests and his face were violated by Yuan Shu, it is reasonable for Liu Biao to be so angry. And only if he immediately leads troops to attack Yuan Shu, can he block the world's long mouth and not be overwhelmed by the fishing boat of society. Therefore, various reasons combined together led Liu Biao to immediately decide to attack Nanyang with all his 100,000 troops. When Yuan Shu proclaimed himself emperor in Nanyang, the scene of people from all over the world that he expected did not appear. The princes from all walks of life did not show any special emotions towards his proclaiming emperor. Instead, it angered Liu Biao, who was closest to him. The news that Liu Biao led an army of 100,000 to attack Nanyang County reached Yuan Shu's ears, and Yuan Shu was immediately shocked. Originally, he thought that although he did not have many soldiers and horses, he would definitely be recognized by the princes from all over the country with the national jade seal as proof. At that time, even if anyone is dissatisfied, he can completely use the authority of the emperor to order other princes to attack the other party. This is the reason why he dared to proclaim himself emperor and ascend the throne just by relying on the land of Nanyang County. However, Yuan Shu obviously ignored the political chaos in the world today, and the only law in the chaos is that the weak eat the strong. Whoever has the strongest military force will become the undisputed emperor. Even the most powerful King Lu Feng, who is now the most powerful, is already worried that he is not enough to cope with the joint attack of various princes, so he has never proclaimed himself emperor. Yuan Shu actually dared to proclaim himself emperor when he only owned Nanyang County. He obviously overestimated his own strength and prestige and ignored the reality of this world. Liu Biao used all the strength of Jingzhou to amass an army of 100,000. This force was not very large compared to powerful princes such as Lu Feng, Cao, and Yuan Shao. But for Yuan Shu, who only had Nanyang County, he was still unable to resist. Therefore, after Yuan Shu learned that Liu Biao's 100,000 strong army was attacking him, he quickly summoned all his officials to discuss strategies to meet the enemy. However, even though Yuan Shu and his officials brainstormed to find a way to deal with Liu Biao, without enough troops and generals who were good at fighting, it was still difficult for a clever woman to make a fool of herself. At the same time, Li Ju and Guo Si, who had been occupying Wanqing after being driven out of the Salai area by the three armies of Ma Teng, Lu Buletin, and Yuan Shao, also received news of Liu Biao's attack on Yuan Shu. Wanqing is within the jurisdiction of Nanyang County, and Li Ju and Guo Si are obviously dependent on Yuan Shu. Therefore, when Liu Biao comes to attack Nanyang, they must be inseparable from each other. However, they could not decide whether they should side with Yuan Shu and help him resist Liu Biao, or should side with Liu Biao to attack Yuan Shu. So they called Jia Su and asked for his opinion. Jia Su hardly thought about it and said to Li Ju and Guo Si, now that we occupy Wanqing, we are under Yuan Shu's rule. If we submit to Liu Biao and attack Yuan Shu, who is already at a disadvantage, will obviously not be able to defeat him. If you pass Liu Biao, he will soon be eliminated by Liu Biao. And once Liu Biao eliminates Yuan Shu, the two generals can only rely on Liu Biao. But Liu Biao is a clan member of the Han dynasty, and he must hate Dong Xiongguo deeply, and the two of you, they are also the prime minister's right-hand man. If you surrender to him, how will he treat you? Only if Yuan Shu does not die and is in constant confrontation with Liu Biao can the two generals develop. Li Ju and Guo Si, after listening to Jia Su's words, the two men immediately felt that what he said made sense, so they led their troops to Nanyang Xiwan County and volunteered to challenge Liu Biao. Naturally, Yuan Shu happily agreed and asked Li Ju and Guo Bang to take their troops to resist Liu Biao. On the other side, Sun Ce saw Liu Biao leading an army of 100,000 men from Jingzhou to attack Yuan Shu, and knew that he would have no time to worry about Jiangxia anymore, so the opportunity came that he wanted to keep. Therefore, Sun Ce also submitted a letter of challenge to Yuan Shu, hoping to lead his troops to attack Jiangxia and use the strategy of surrounding Wei and rescuing Zhao to relieve the crisis in Nanyang. Yuan Shu naturally agreed to this and ordered Sun Ce to lead an army to attack Jiangxia. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 257. The army under Li Ju and Guo Si was the Liangzhou army led by Dong Zhou when he entered Luoyang. Although Lu Feng killed Dong Zhou and captured 30,000 Ziliang troops and divided them with Liu Bei, Cao, and others, that was nothing more than 1/10. Dong Zhou has been fighting in Liangzhou all year round, resisting Qiang, Hu, and other foreign tribes. His Ziliang army has already become elite soldiers in hundreds of battles. Moreover, although the number of soldiers and horses he brought to Luoyang was only 3,000, Niu Fu, Li Ju, Guo Si and others later continued to transport large armies to Luoyang from Liangzhou and other places, so until Dong Zhou moved the capital to Chang'an, there were already nearly 3,000 soldiers. An army of 100,000. During the process of moving the capital, Fan Zhou followed Li Ru's order and ambushed Cao on the way, and was subsequently defeated by Lu Feng, who lost tens of thousands of troops. Later, Lu Feng led a coalition of princes to catch up with Dong Zhou, and there was another fight. The Ziliang army once again lost tens of thousands of horses. With the death of Dong Zhou, the Ziliang army fled in all directions, and the alliance army disbanded and withdrew. Li Ju and Guo Si, at Jia Su's suggestion, gathered the fleeing Ziliang army soldiers along the way to counterattack Wang Yun. By the time they arrived in Chang'an, more than 100,000 people had gathered. These more than 100,000 Ziliang troops became Li Ju and Guo Si's biggest support, and they followed them to Wanqing when they fled to Wanqing. Therefore, Li Ju and Guo Si took the initiative to ask for a battle to help Yuan Shu resist Liu Biao, which really made Yuan Shu very happy. Not to mention their 100,000 Ziliang elites, even if they only sent 50,000, plus Yuan Shu's own army, they would be enough to defeat Liu Biao. Beat. In fact, Li Ju and Guo Bang assisted Yuan Shu, so it was impossible to use all their troops to attack Liu Biao. In order to prevent Wanqing from being attacked and changed hands, they only brought 50,000 troops, and the rest of the army was used to guard Wanqing. Even though there are only 50,000 troops, all of them are elites who have fought in hundreds of battles. They can still face the Qian cavalry in Ziliang without falling behind. In addition, Li Ju and Guo Si were Dongzhou's top generals in martial arts, and their ability to lead troops in battle was far stronger than their strategies. Liu Biao's Jingzhou army, on the other hand, had been sparse for a long time and was generally weak in combat effectiveness. In addition, there were no generals who could take action. Therefore, the battle with Li Ju and Guo Si fell into an overall disadvantage. Coupled with the fact that Li Ju, Guo Si and Jie Su, the world's top super counselors, under his planning, Liu Biao's 100,000 troops could not take any advantage at all. Although the Liangzhou army was only half the number of the Jingzhou army, it blocked all of Liu Biao's 100,000 troops from Deng County in Nanyang County, making it difficult for them to advance further. On the other side, Sun Ce also led his army south and attacked Jiangxia County. This time Sun Ce led troops to attack Jiangxia. The soldiers he led were all his own 30,000 Jiangdong soldiers, plus 3 generals, Cheng Piyu, Han Dang, and Huang Gai. And the tens of thousands of Yuzhou troops he had conquered after he captured Yuzhou were left in Yuzhou to guard them, to prevent others from taking advantage of his hometown while he was away from Yuzhou. And he only led the Jiangdong army to attack Jiangxia for another purpose. That is, when Sun Jian attacked Huangziu in Jiangxia, he was ambushed and killed by Huangziu. Therefore, Huangziu in Jiangxia was the number one murderer of Sun Jian's death in battle. Although Sun Jian usually fought bravely and treated his enemies ruthlessly, he treated his soldiers as warmly as a spring breeze. Whenever he encountered a strong enemy, Sun Jian always took the lead. In order to prevent his soldiers from being harmed, he always rushed to the front to resist the opponent's impact. Moreover, Sun Jian never beat or scolded the soldiers, and would give meticulous care to everyone. This can be seen from his relationship with Cheng Piyu, Huang Gai, and Han Dang. Zhou Mao was even willing to be shot by several arrows in order to save Sun Jian, and help Sun Jian block all the arrows. Sun Jian, in order to avenge Zhou Mao, fought with Liu Biao all the year round. All this made the 30,000 sons of Jiangdong respect Sun Jian very much, so they all obeyed Sun Jian's orders, and the 3 armies sacrificed their lives in every battle. This is also the reason why Sun Jian's troops are powerful in combat and he is called the Jiangdong Tiger. Therefore, Sun Jian was ambushed and shot by Huangziu. Not only Sun Ce, Cheng Piyu, Huang Gai, Han Dang and other generals were sad and regretful, but even the 30,000 soldiers in Jiangdong felt very sad and wanted to avenge Sun Jian. Therefore, they had long wanted to kill Huangziu, who killed Sun Jian. It is precisely because of the high morale of the 30,000 Jiangdong soldiers that Sun Ce only led his own 30,000 troops to attack Jiangxia. At the thought of being able to avenge their lord, not only the 3 generals Cheng Piyu, Huang Gai and Han Dang were eager, but even every officer in the 30,000 Jiangdong army held their breath. Under the orders of the 3 armies, Sun Ce crushed Jiangxia's army almost all the way, and defeated several cities in Jiangxia in a few days with overwhelming force. Most of Jiangxia became Sun Ce's bag. Faced with such a crazy attack by Sun Ce's army, Huangziu seemed helpless. Not only was he far inferior to Sun Ce's Jiangdong army in terms of combat effectiveness and morale of his soldiers, but he also had no generals under his command who could rival Cheng Pu and the other three. Therefore, every time the two sides fought, Jiangxia's army returned with a great defeat. What made Huangziu even more desperate was that there was a super strategist like Zhou Yu in Sun Ce's army. Every plan and every move he made was guessed in advance and prepared for him. So within a few days, Jiangxia fell into the crisis of losing the entire county. In response, Huangziu had to ask Lu Biao for support. During the battle to attack Nanyang, Lu Biao encountered strong resistance from the Ziliang army led by Li Ju and Guo Si. Not only was he blocked in Deng County, unable to advance or retreat, but he also lost troops and generals. Fortunately, Li Ju and Guo Si only wanted to defend Nanyang and did not take the initiative to attack. Otherwise, the 100,000 Jingzhou army might not be able to withstand Li Ju and Guo Si's attack. Therefore, Lu Biao, who had been frustrated many times, had already retreated, but there was no reasonable reason. Just at this time, Huangziu's letter asking for help arrived in the hands of Lu Biao. After reading it, Lu Biao breathed a sigh of relief and was finally able to evacuate Nanyang reasonably. So Lu Biao gave an order to withdraw the 100,000 troops who were still desperately attacking Nanyang to the southeast to support Jiangxia County. Lu Biao believed that he had the advantage in terms of military strength. Sun Ce only had 30,000 men, so he would definitely be able to defeat Sun Ce easily. However, Lu Biao's movements had been guessed by Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu, who knew everything, immediately offered a plan and asked Sun Ce to lead the army to the northwest. At the same time, Li Ju and Guo Si, who had been firmly guarding the Deng County defense line, also led an army of 50,000 Ziliang troops to pursue Lu Biao on Jiasu's suggestion. The two super counselors Jiasu and Zhou Yu are about to join forces and will definitely be able to defeat Lu Biao's army. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 258. Lu Biao withdrew his troops to the southeast with a force of 100,000 from Jingzhou to support Jiangxia County. Li Ju and Guo Bang pursued him with an army of 50,000 from Liangzhou. Sun Ce also led an army of 30,000 to the northwest to resist Lu Biao. In the end, a total of 180,000 troops from the three parties gathered in Yundu City in Jiangxia County. Among them, Lu Biao's rescue of Jiangxia could not be concealed, so the army marched quickly with great fanfare and stationed in Yundu City that night. Li Ju and Guo Si's Ziliang army secretly followed Jiasu's suggestion and followed from a distance without showing their faces. Lu Biao was eager to support Jiangxia, and the Liangzhou army had been staying in Deng County for the past few days, so he did not expect that the Ziliang army was already far behind him at this time. Since Zhou Yu had guessed Lu Biao's movements and asked Sun Ce to lead his army to stop him, he naturally could not go there with great fanfare, but instead went quietly without telling Huangziu. So, on the night when Lu Biao's army rested in Yundu City, Sun Ce's 30,000 Jiangdong army and the 50,000 Liangzhou army led by Li Ju and Guo Si besieged Lu Biao in Yundu City. Because Yundu City was not the final destination, Lu Biao did not arrange for the army to enter the city to rest, but instead set up camp outside Yundu City. Early the next morning, when Lu Biao woke up and prepared to continue his march, he was surprised to find that his army was surrounded overnight. In the front are Sun Ce's Jiangdong soldiers who are ready to go, and in the rear are Li Ju and Guo Si's Ziliang elites who are like wolves and tigers. Li Ju and Guo Si were interested in Lu Biao's territory and troops, while Sun Ce was looking forward to winning his own head. Although Lu Biao had 100,000 Jingzhou troops and horses, it was difficult to defeat Liangzhu's 50,000 elite troops. At this time, coupled with the 30,000 Jiangdong army, defeat was inevitable. Lu Biao knew that there was no possibility of breaking through when facing Li Ju and Guo Si, so he set the direction of attack in the direction of Sun Ce's army in the southeast. He originally thought that Sun Ce's men were few and Sun Ce was only 13 years old, not strong enough to withstand his 100,000 strong army. As long as he successfully breaks through Sun Ce's siege, he can escape to Jiangxia and rely on the city wall to defend the city, which can greatly reduce personnel losses. However, Liu Biao still underestimated Sun Ce's ability. Although Sun Ce had few troops, driven by his will for revenge, the Jiangdong army exploded with a combat effectiveness that was no less than that of the Ziliang army behind them. Coupled with the four powerful generals Sun Ce, Huang Gai, Cheng Piyu, and Han Dang taking the lead in the charge, as well as Zhou Yu's excellent command, Liu Biao had no chance of leading his army to break through. At this time, Li Ju and Guo Bang from the rear also launched an attack on Jia Su's suggestion. The Jingzhou army, which was relatively the weakest, was quickly defeated under the attack of the two armies at the front and rear. In the end, Liu Biao only escaped with the escort of dozens of cavalry. Almost all of the 100,000 strong army was wiped out, causing Liu Biao's vitality to be severely damaged. While the four forces of Yuan Shu, Liu Biao, Sun Ce, and Li Ju were fighting endlessly because of Sun Yu's clever plan, Lu Feng stayed safely in Jizhu, sitting on the mountain and watching the tigers fight, and vigorously developed the strength of the three states under his command. But Lu Feng himself is not a person who is willing to be lonely, especially after winning Qingzhou and Jizhu in a row some time ago. His ambitions have been amplified bit by bit. Therefore, after 2 months of rest in Jizhu, Lu Feng once again started to think about fighting. However, as the major princes are currently attacking each other and the forces in various places are complicated, it is no longer the Three Kingdoms era that he is familiar with, so every step requires careful planning. Therefore, Lu Feng found Guo Jia and discussed the next battle plan with him. Currently, the three major princes, Cao, Yuan Shao, and Lu Buletin, have united to form a line of defense, hoping to stop Lu Feng from moving south. However, with the strength of Lu Feng's current army, if the troops are united, they can completely crush this line of defense. Therefore, Lu Feng said to Guo Jia Feng Xiao, "Now all the major princes are attacking each other. Although we have consolidated our power in Jizhu, the general trend of the world is like sailing against the current. If we do not advance, we will retreat. We cannot do nothing. Do it. Otherwise, it is very likely to be surpassed by other forces. Therefore, I decided to personally lead the army to attack. Even if I no longer expand the territory, I must first concentrate my forces to crush the defense line jointly deployed by Cao, Yuan Shao, and Lu Buletin. If we let them block us in the northeast, I'm afraid that if we want to send troops quickly to complete any task in the future, we will have to waste time to break their defense line." After hearing Lu Feng's words, Guo Jia shook his head and said, "Why are you so anxious, my lord? Even if it is temporarily necessary to advance quickly, Jia is sure that we can quickly break through this line of defense. But now the Lord wants to concentrate his forces to break this line of defense, but it is not appropriate. Mainly because our attack speed is too fast. 1 month in a short period of time, the two states of Qingzhou and Jizhu were captured continuously. Such an attack speed is rare in ancient and modern times. The army has strong combat effectiveness and it is a good thing to capture the city quickly, but it can easily expose some shortcomings, that is, the foundation is unstable. So the rapid conquest of these two states is like building 2 9-story buildings overnight. Although the appearance looks like a normal building, the foundation of the building must not have been laid well. In this way, although the building people can still live in it, but after being exposed to wind and sun for a long time, this building will inevitably have various problems, and it may even collapse under the slightest external force. This is the case in our Jizhu and Qingzhou, because they were taken down too quickly, and now there is no after eating it completely. The people's hearts in these two places are not yet completely stable. The soldiers and people in the two states have not adapted to their new status. In addition, people will have nostalgia. Once someone from CAO or Yuan Shao advocates, it is very likely to cause turmoil in the two places. Therefore, Geo believes that we can take advantage of the gap between CAO, Yuan Shao and other princes who have not sent troops to us to calm the hearts of the two states first. At the same time, we can develop our own strength with peace of mind, which will be more it can paralyze all the princes. After listening to Guojia's analysis, Lu Feng felt that it made sense, but he said with some reluctance what Feng Xiao said makes sense, but CAO, Yuan Shao and others are also developing their strength with peace of mind. If they wait until they completely digest the Yangzhou and Yanzhou and other places they have acquired, the threat to us will be even greater big. Guojia said with a smile, my lord, don't worry, they can develop, and we can also expand secretly. Don't forget that Ma Teng is our ally, my lord can write to Ma Teng and ask him to go south to attack Yizhu. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 259. Let Ma Teng attack Yizhu. Lu Feng repeated Guojia's words while also thinking about the feasibility of this strategy. Seeing that Lu Feng was still thinking, Guojia explained Ma Teng's alliance with our army was carried out secretly, and there was not much people know. Therefore, letting Ma Teng attack Yizhu, once successful, would be equivalent to opening a second stronghold outside the defense lines of CAO, Yuan Shao and Lu Buletin. Moreover, this stronghold is very hidden and the other princes don't know about it at all, so no one will pay special attention to it. After our army consolidates the power of Qingzhou and Yizhu, if we want to continue attacking south or west, we can send troops from Yizhu at the same time. Under attack from both sides, we can easily break through their defense lines. After Lu Feng heard Guojia's complete plan, he immediately felt that this plan was feasible, so he immediately wrote a letter inviting Ma Teng to attack Yizhu and fully informed Guojia of his plan. After writing the letter, Lu Feng found a red-blooded dragon rider and asked him to ride a golden eagle to bring this letter to Si Li and hand it over to Ma Teng. The golden eagle was very fast. In less than 2 hours, it had flown to Sizhu and asked the man to the red-blood dragon cavalry soldier handed Lu Feng's letter to Ma Teng. After Ma Teng saw what Lu Feng wrote in the letter, without any hesitation, he immediately appointed General Pang De as commander-in-chief and led an army of 50,000 people to attack South Hanzhong County in Yizhu. The reason why Ma Teng agreed to Lu Feng's request without hesitation was not only because of Ma Chao's relationship, but more importantly because he felt Lu Feng's trust from Lu Feng's letter and sincerity. In fact, attacking Yizhu has no special benefits for Ma Teng. He has just captured Yufeng and Jingzhiying counties, and he can rest for a while to consolidate the rule of the two counties. And conquering Yizhu, in addition to allowing Ma Teng to expand his power, the biggest benefit is that it can help Lu Feng break through the defense line composed of the three major princes at a critical moment. This is also Lu Feng's most fundamental purpose. Although Ma Teng and Lu Feng have secretly formed an alliance, Ma Teng did not have to follow Lu Feng in all his actions, and Lu Feng could have made up a reason to make Ma Teng think that capturing Yizhu would be of greater benefit to him. But Lu Feng did not choose to deceive Ma Teng for his own convenience. Lu Feng told Ma Teng all the complete plans of himself and Guojia. This sincerity moved Ma Teng. At the same time, Lu Feng told Ma Teng his battle plan, which showed that he had great trust in Ma Teng. Otherwise, once Ma Teng knew about Lu Feng's plan and secretly informed other princes of the plan, or violated it in secret, which would cause huge losses to Lu Feng. Lu Feng's trust in Ma Teng made Ma Teng feel that he was being misunderstood by Lu Feng. A true ally, not like Han Sui who only joined forces with Dao Yi for profit. That's why without saying a word, he directly gave his most powerful General Pang De 50,000 troops and asked him to attack Hanzhong. In fact, the reason why Lu Feng was able to trust Ma Teng without reservation and tell him all his plans was not just because Ma Chao served under him. The main reason is that Lu Feng was reincarnated. Although the world's situation has changed, the character of each character will not change. Therefore, Lu Feng knew Ma Teng's character and knew that he was a virtuous and loyal person who valued friendship very much. As long as he treated him with sincerity, he would definitely reciprocate with sincerity. In addition, he had always wanted to regain the glory of his ancestor, General Fubo, Ma Yuan, and was very enthusiastic about the Han dynasty. As the consort of the Han dynasty, and with the status of vassal king, Ma Teng would not harm him. That's why Lu Feng dared to tell Ma Teng the truth, which moved Ma Teng and fully cooperated with Lu Feng. At this time, Lu Yan, the shepherd of Yizhu, was already old and sick, and had almost no involvement in the affairs of the state. Lu Zhang was weak and had no ability to suppress the big families in Yizhu. Therefore, Zhang Lu of Hanzhong already had the idea of a Euro separatism and self-reliance by taking advantage of the 5 pecks of rice cult. Although Lu Zhang knew this, he was unable to control it. The rise of Zhang Lu and Lu Zhang's indulgence gave Pound the opportunity to take Hanzhong. Pang De was a first-rate military general and had extremely strong commanding ability. Coupled with the elite Ziliang cavalry, Zhang Lu's Hanzhong soldiers and horses were completely unable to resist. In less than half a month, Pang De captured most of Hanzhong with lightning speed. At the same time, because Pang De was a general under Ma Teng, no one could think of any relationship between Pang De's capture of Hanzhong and Lu Feng. Therefore, as Lu Feng stood still for several months, the alliance composed of Cao, Yuan Shao, and Lu Buletin gradually relaxed their vigilance. Especially Cao, according to 11's Hekai's plan, in order to develop his own power, Cao should occupy Suzhou and take the entire Yangzhou into his pocket to use it as a base camp for rapid development. However, due to Sun Jian's tenacious resistance when attacking Yangzhou and Cao's naval force being too weak, he followed 11's Hekai's suggestion and joined forces with Liu Biao to attack Sun Jian. As a result, although Liu Biao ambushed Sun Jian, Cao had to divide Yangzhou equally with Liu Biao. Obviously, half of Yangzhou could not satisfy Cao's ambition and development. Therefore, Cao planned to drive Liu Biao out of Yangzhou while Lu Feng did not make any moves, and monopolize Yangzhou's territory for himself. However, due to his previous alliance with Liu Biao, he naturally could not use troops directly against him, so he had to use a trick to drive him out. Therefore, Cao needed to make a good plan with 11's Hekai. 11's Hekai obviously had a plan for Cao's concerns. He said to Cao, "My lord, since we cannot personally send troops to drive Liu Biao out of Yangzhou, we must rely on the power of others. Now on the surface, there are only 2 forces in Yangzhou, we and Liu Biao, but in fact there is another force secretly. That was Sun Jian. Although Sun Jian had long been killed in battle, he had been operating in Yangzhou for many years and treated the soldiers and people well. This made Yangzhou respect him very much, both from the gentry and the common people. Therefore, when he was assassinated by Liu Biao, there must have been a large number of local people. The officials, the people, and the Yangzhou prisoners who surrendered to Liu Biao were very dissatisfied, and this is what we can take advantage of. The Lord only needs to send people to the Zhejiang, Luoyang, and Yuzhang counties of Yangzhou occupied by Liu Biao to spread rumors that Liu Biao has died after Sun Jian's death. He refused to give up, and cut his body into pieces with 5 horses. He died in a miserable state. The soldiers and people in these 3 counties were already worried about Sun Jian's death, and Liu Biao's decision to make him unable to live in peace after death was bound to arouse their hatred. As long as Liu Biao loses the support of the people in these 3 counties, our chance will come. Cao was overjoyed when he heard this and immediately ordered his people to implement 11's Hekai's plan. As expected by 11's Hekai, there were a lot of turmoil in the three counties ruled by Lu Biao, and even the common people and Sun Jian's subordinates surrendered their troops to attack the government. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 260. At this time, because Yuan Shu ascended the throne and proclaimed himself emperor, Lu Biao mobilized the entire state to attack him. However, he encountered strong resistance from the Daqin kingdom and was even in danger of being counterattacked by the Daqin kingdom. Daqin kingdom counterattacked Jingzhou, and Jingzhou, as Lu Biao's hometown, was naturally much more important than the three counties of Yangzhou, so even if there was a large-scale rebellion in Yangzhou, he had no intention of taking care of it. But this just gave Cao the opportunity to control Yangzhou. Cao also took the opportunity to secretly enter Zhejiang, Luoyang, and Yuzhang counties under the pretext of revenge for Sun Jian, and encircled and suppressed Lu Biao's army in Yangzhou. Because the armies attacking these three counties were all Yangzhou people and the Jiangdong army captured by Lu Biao, which originally belonged to Sun Jian, their equipment and combat effectiveness were not as good as Lu Biao's soldiers. The main reason why he was able to cause trouble to the defenders of the three counties was his momentum. Therefore, they only had the advantage at first because of the sudden incident, but as the battle progressed, they gradually fell into a disadvantage. At this time, Cao also led his troops into Yuzhang, Luoyang, and Zhejiang, gathering troops along the way in the name of avenging Sun Jian. The state army soon formed a powerful force. Eventually, this army became a powerful force with tens of thousands of troops. In order to resist the rebels of Daqin Kingdom, Lu Biao had already transferred most of his troops back to Jingzhou. The remaining garrison troops in the three counties of Yangzhou combined were less than 10,000. The defenders of the three counties faced a fierce attack by tens of thousands of troops under Cao's command, especially the powerful generals Su Chu and Xia Hedun among Cao's troops. They were beaten without the ability to fight back. In the end, Cao's army effortlessly drove Lu Biao's forces out of Yangzhou. Cao led his army to drive Lu Biao out of Yangzhou, and in the name of avenging Sun Jian, he successfully gained recognition from the people of Yangzhou and the local forces in Yangzhou who were originally Sun Jian soldiers. At this point, Cao has completely controlled Yangzhou, owns Yangzhou and Suzhou, and can quickly develop his power as planned. As for Lu Biao, he was originally very high-spirited because he killed his old enemy Sun Jian and occupied half of Yangzhou. However, I didn't expect that only a few months would pass before and after. Because Yuan Shu proclaimed himself emperor and became self-reliant, I couldn't swallow this and had to launch an army to attack him, which led to the current two-front battle being completely passive. Yangzhou completely lost control, and Jingzhou's army was also losing consecutive battles against the Daqin kingdom. Several consecutive defeats made Lu Biao feel discouraged. At this time, he no longer had the lofty ambitions he had when he entered Jingzhou but fought outside An'ai. The continuous defeats made him have the idea of a giving up. However, Lu Biao could give up, but Cai Mao, Kuai Liang, Kuai Yu, and others who were local nobles in Jingzhou could not give up. They still tried their best to make the final resistance, especially the brothers Kuai Liang and Kuai Yu, who were not only famous people in Jingzhou, but also wise men who were familiar with the art of war. With their best efforts to resist, the Jingzhou army temporarily stopped their decline and stabilized their defense line bit by bit. But even though the two brothers had all kinds of strategies, they were still unable to make a comeback because of Jingzhou's own strength. The Ziliang army led by Li Ju and Guo Ben were both experienced in hundreds of battles. They were an elite division that had been fighting against the Qiang people in Liangzhou. Their tactics and the strength of their soldiers could not even be matched by the Qiang cavalry. The soldiers of the Jingzhou army, whether in terms of tactics or combat effectiveness, or even their fighting will and morale at this time, were far inferior to the Qiang soldiers, let alone fighting against the Liangzhou army. And even if you don't mention the combat effectiveness of the Jingzhou army, even if you only look at the strength of both sides, the Jingzhou army is far from being a match for the Daqin army. Previously, Liu Biao used all the troops in the state and gathered 100,000 armored men to attack the Daqin kingdom. However, they were strangled by the two armies of Li Qiaobin and Sun Ce in Yundu city. In the end, Liu Biao broke out with only a few dozen cavalry. The defeat of this battle left Jingzhou with almost no troops available at this moment. In desperation, Kuai Liang and Kuai Yu had no choice but to second a few defenders from Yangzhou to return to Jingzhou. It was precisely because the Yangzhou defenders returned to Jingzhou that they gave Cao the opportunity to easily capture the three counties of Luoyang, Zhejiang, and Yuzhang, and control the entire Yangzhou in his hands. Even with the 50,000 soldiers and horses returning from Yangzhou, Kuai Liang and Kuai Yu were still at a disadvantage facing the Daqin kingdom's army. In the previous siege of Yundu city, Liu Biao's Jingzhou army was in a weak position and was besieged, so there was no way to fight back. As a result, Liang's whose 50,000 strong army and Sun Ce's 30,000 strong Jiangdong army suffered almost no losses. Now the two armies combined still have nearly 70,000 troops. In addition, Emperor Yuan Shu of the Daqin kingdom saw that Liu Biao was gone, so he sent General Ji Ling to lead an army of 20,000 to join Sun Ce and Li Ju to besiege Jingzhou in an attempt to completely eradicate Liu Biao. Therefore, the situation of Jingzhou army was extremely serious at this time. In addition to the disadvantage in terms of military strength, the Jingzhou army's generals only have Cai Mao and Zhang Yun. Apart from them, Wenpin and Huang Zhong, who were originally very famous in history, are not reused at this time, so they have not shown any special performance for the time being. Human capabilities. However, both Cai Mao and Zhang Yun were far inferior to Daqin generals Li Ju, Guo Si, Huang Gai, Cheng Piyu, and others, both in terms of personal force and general ability. Therefore, even if the Kuai Liang brothers tried their best, they could not stop the overwhelming Daqin army. In addition, among the two armies of Li Ju, Guo Si, and Sun Ce, there were also super counselors like Jia Su and Zhou Yu respectively. Their strategies were far beyond what the Kuai brothers could compare with. Often when the Kuai brothers have just come up with a plan, Zhou Yu and Jia Su not only have guessed it, but have also prepared the relevant solutions. However, the Kuai brothers could not predict the clever plan that Jia Su and Zhou Yu came up with in advance. Therefore, no matter in terms of military strength, strategy, or generals, the Jingzhou army was far from a match for the Daqin kingdom's army. At this time, seeing the chaos in Jingzhou, 11's He also suggested to Cao my lord, Liu Biao is almost exhausted at this time, and it is obvious that he has no power to fight back against Yuan Shu's three armies. However, neither Sun Ce nor Li Ju and Guo Si obviously do not really agree with Yuan Shu, and they must have their own goals. Therefore, our army can also take the opportunity to enter Jingzhou, and maybe fish in troubled waters and obtain some benefits from it. Cao listened to the joke. After hearing this, he was immediately overjoyed and immediately led an army of 30,000 into Jingzhou, preparing to get a share of the pie. Therefore, facing the indirect alliance of the three super counselors Jia Su, Zhou Yu, and 11's He, it was difficult for the Kuai brothers to resist, and the entire Jingzhou was divided between Cao, Sun Ce, Li Ju, and Guo Si. Liu Biao felt disheartened when he saw the three armies marching into Jingzhou. He immediately drew his sword and committed suicide. The Kuai Liang brothers were captured by Li Ju and Guo Si.